What's going on? This is episode 12 of the Garage Cast. I think I've talked about. Do I have to tell you guys it's episode 12? I mean, I think when you download it, you can see it's episode 12. But whatever. Let's moving right along. So yeah, thank you for tuning in. This week's guest is yours truly. Not here. I'm doing a solo one today. Um, I ended up getting sick. If you listen to episode 11.5, the mini episode, I will apparently, I had strep throat at that time. Didn't know about it. I'm not a, I'm not a doctor type of person. I mean, I've gone, but it was definitively, something was wrong with me. But usually something like that, I thought I had a cold. Ended up having strep throat. So bad call on my end. So that's why in that episode, at least, I was pretty down, pretty gloomy, and I just didn't have any energy, and I was just trying to fight through it because of episode 11. I gave out some wrong websites, that kind of stuff. So I felt obligated. So I got to push this one out, man. I just didn't. I didn't feel up to it. But hey, look at me now. I'm back. But yeah, just me today. I got all my drugs from the doctors, the prescriptions I got from him. Got me some scripts. But yeah, so feeling a lot better, and decided to just kick it off. Kick it off with good old episode 12. So like I said, today is a solo, and so what does that mean? I get to talk about whatever I want to talk about. I'm still supposed to get some more guests on here. I do like having guests on the podcast. I feel like it gives just gives a little bit more information, just exposes, gives that person or people a little bit more exposure, and it's just something different. I mean, because I think once you listen to me ramble, that's you pretty much figure me out. But I'm yet to really talk about real deep stuff. Just things that I really think about, mostly conspiracy stuff. But no, honestly, for instance, I was talking to my brother about how people, and it's kind of always been said, not always been said, but just how people are kind of bred to work for people instead of, and these are blue collar level people, just normal, everyday public school attendees. You're bred to go to school or go to grade school, go to high school, go to college, and go get a job working for someone. And I talked to my brother about it, not a lot, but off and on throughout the years. And we really talk about how working for someone isn't necessarily the absolute worst thing. But I think when you work for someone, the plan to get out from under them is never there. The plan is always, well, I want to become a manager, or I want to become, I still want to work under someone in this capacity. So if you work for Amazon, most people that work for Amazon will say, well, I want to be the warehouse manager. They won't say, I'm going to start my own version of Amazon and go call it, whatever, Rinky Dinks or Us, but doing the same product. They're providing the same service. No different than CVS and Walgreens. Exact same. Well, nowadays more so. Exact same product, two different companies. So yeah, I mean, I talked to my brother about things like that. Off and on, it starts to become kind of redundant. Just talking about that because he since he was young, he's always had his hand in creating his own money. And then when Rich Dad Poor Dad, when that book came out, he was very much into that. He got me to read it, and I started to understand more so how to create your own thing. And I think what ends up happening is a lot of times people, like I said, people are kind of bred just to work for someone. And then when you approach them and you say, well, okay, but what are you going to do? What can you do if your job, fired you right now? What can you do? What service can you provide? And usually it's nothing. Usually people have no idea what they can do. And I think that's a little bit of the problem. Not to say that everybody, not to say that absolutely everybody can be the owner of some company, but I am saying that people can, essentially, people can hustle, right? So um, if your thing literally is, excuse me, if your thing literally is, finding spare tires on the side of the road or whatever. It's just, let's say you just get old worn out tires and you more or less flip them, right? You take them somewhere, get them refurbished or whatever you can do with old tires, and then you make a profit off of that. Then okay, well that's your thing. Now you can turn that into a business, but it would take developing a lot of expertise in that realm of. Oh, excuse me. I'm being rude today on the mic. It takes a lot of expertise in that I guess market to know what to do. What can you do with old tires to create more to create profit? How much does it cost? How do you lower the cost? All that kind of thing. All those types of things. Yeah, I just think that most people don't have that kind of hustle in them. And I remember talking on the last podcast with Donna about it was about how would I make money how would I make money podcasting? That example I gave was just very generic, very general, because in the large scope, the big scheme of things, I won't make money off of this. I would have to use this and somehow do live podcasts in front of a crowd, and the crowd pays, in all honesty, $5 to get in, that kind of thing, where I can generate money specifically from podcasting, and then hopefully, I get more popular, and then that's when advertisers come in, and then that's when I get kickbacks off of those sales. But yeah, I mean, that's what I mean when I say I used to talk about things like that, like actually being your own boss and everything. And that's a real big thing when it comes to my wife's trying to creep in here. What? And she's going to go through the loudest plastic bag ever. It's the same. Yeah. It's the same plastic bags that, what were those, Sun Chips? The Sun Chips came in that people were banning from their. Okay. Banning from their live shows. Um, Oh yeah, yeah. I used to talk about a lot of different things. My mother, my brother. We like to talk about things like that. And I think when you do things like that, um, you tend to bring those types of people around you. So you become who you surround yourself with. So if you surround yourself with a lot of forward thinkers or just people that are into, I don't know if progressive is the right word, but people that are into moving forward and creating their own business and just, really trying to do something for them. I mean, even something as simple as, weight training or exercise, and something that's going to benefit them. You get more people like that around you, and then you become that. Yeah, so me and my brother would talk a lot about just how to break the cycle. I think recently we were talking about how politicians and all these people have essentially they are immortalized on television and with video essentially, and in the public eye. So you have all of these people that were and are running for president now forever. In this election year, those people's likeness and names are forever there. So now those people's children, which most of them I would think are older because most of the candidates are just older, but even then their grandchildren will see them, and now they'll see them in the videos, and now that will set a standard for their children and their grandchildren. And for the average person, we don't have that. I mean, we have home video and we have home video and, cell phone videos, that kinds of things. But those types of things, but nothing that is as broad and out there and can create as much of an impact as a presidential election. And not only that, just bigger things. So, yeah, I talked to him a lot about that kind of stuff, and I'm yet to have a guest on where I can talk about those types of things. So usually I just come on here and just talk a bunch of. I pretty much complain, but don't, don't get me wrong. Those are 100% real. I don't, for the life of me, I don't understand. I don't understand why people think certain ways. I mean, I get it. They're trying to do a job, or that's how they were raised. But okay, now you're in the real world. Now you're out here. Figure it out. But yeah. So that's one guest I want to get on. And you know what? It may be me needing to push the conversation, but so far, excuse me, goodness gracious. So far, the guests I've had on haven't had those types of interest. So when I have a guest on, I usually just let them kind of go for it. Talk about whatever they want to talk about, which to me is fine. That's great. I don't want to force a conversation. But yeah. So hopefully I'll get some of those kind of guests on. Maybe what, I should just have my brother on. That might be one thing. He's kind of shy, but yeah, that's what that's the I lost my train of thought. Oh, having conversations like that on podcasts. So yeah, hopefully one day, or hopefully multiple days, I can get conversations like that, or guests on here where we can really talk deeper about. And then I'm not trying to solve the world's problems, but I think it's good to always think about that, because I mean, look at me. I'm essentially nobody, but if in my immediate family, it's 2016 also, right? But in my immediate family, I don't know of anyone that even has a YouTube channel that puts out information. Many of my family members have YouTube accounts, but how many of them have a YouTube channel and a podcast? So even doing that very, very small step, that breaks a cycle, because now my kids, or my even my brother, or just even my wife, they can look at me and go, oh wow, he did that. So now that just raised the bar for the ability to do different things. And I think that's the biggest difference between people that work for someone, and people that work for someone, and then people that start their own business, or create their own, I guess, create their own hustle, if you will. But I would like to say you start your own business. Sometimes your hustle starts your own business, because you'll say, like the tire thing. You say, well, I'm finding these tires and blah, I'm finding these tires and flipping them, and then you figure out, oh, I could. What was the company? 1-800 Junk, Got Junk, whatever it is, whatever that company is. Same kind of thing. Guys just driving around going all these refrigerators and dressers and kitchen sinks and whatever it is. After a while, he looks around and goes, well, I should just start a business that does that. And so that's what he becomes, or that's what the person can become proficient in. They get a truck, just driving around. They're finding all the tires on the expressways, and and they have to. When you do things like that, yeah, you got to look at the law, because they'll quickly jam you up. But something as small as that really raises the bar and makes kids and family members and friends look at you and go, oh, he has his own business. He does what? And a lot of times people don't know that there's a market for that, and me and my brother often talk about Damon Dash, how he's adamant about his son selling cookies. But his point is that he doesn't work for someone. He doesn't desire to work for someone. And in that aspect, the harder you work for your company or your product, the more money you'll get, or the more exposure you'll get. And hopefully throughout the year, the quarter, or the month, you take steps forward. You just get more exposure, and then more exposure means hopefully more customers, or more joint ventures. Like I think the white knuckles gear I mentioned before, and often wear the shirts every now and then, nice and comfy. White Knuckles Gear, they just put some news out that they teamed up. I can't think of the other company. Check go to their Facebook page. But they teamed up with another company, and now they're going to do I think joint ventures, putting designing together and putting out stuff. So the success of your thing just connected you with hopefully someone that's successful or more successful than you with a bigger market anyway. And now you guys get together and you're not necessarily selling your company, but you can do some sort of contract to say, okay, we'll work for 3 months together and we'll put out 7 items or whatever it is. So it seems to me as long as you do your homework, there's always a future in joint ventures and starting your own business. It's just you definitely have to hit certain marks, because if not, you'll just be spinning your tires, and then you'll spin your tires, get frustrated, and quit. And that's sadly the cycle sometimes. And then sometimes you also do need to get kicked in the butt and quit and run down and look around like there's no tomorrow. And then, you get a light bulb lights up and you go, oh, okay, that's where I went wrong. It was too flat. I didn't need an office. I can work out of my garage or, work out of a spare bedroom or whatever it is. Anyway, now I'm done with that. But yeah, that's the real big reason. I don't talk about things like that because I could talk for days about it. Anyway, yeah. So I was when I was sick, had strep. I didn't even know it. So what ended up happening? I'm just down and out. Walking around here down in Dayquil and Robitussin, thinking I'm gonna kick it in the butt and get rid of this daggone cold. That wasn't it. But check this out. So I'm at home. I'm sick, right? So I'm not at work. So there's a company, and they're probably everywhere, right? So there's a company that sends, I don't know how it works, man. There's a company that sends out representatives to people's homes or to the neighborhoods. So they walk around, knock on your door, So this company was doing roofing, and I think what they do is they come out and they do an estimate, and then that estimate's good for 6 months or whatever it is. So guy comes to my door, I answer the door, and I know how it was is I was going to my car. This is so wrong. I was going to my car to get something. Pure kid. Kid walks up to me, how's it going, sir? And he's and I can tell that he doesn't know how to talk to people yet, because everything sounded like a pitch. Everything sounded like, oh, that's great, because you're in the, that sounds perfect because you're in the market for a great deal. It sounded like such a pitch, but I gave the kid the benefit of the doubt. So anyway, I basically kind of signed up for this thing. I said, yeah, come on out. Look at my place and give me a deal, right? Give me a estimate on my roof. So what ended up happening was a week later, 2 weeks later, whatever it was, they called me back up, and I give them fake names, man. I do that so I know when people call me and ask for this specific name, I know, oh, I'm already out of that deal. This is some nonsense. So I'm bebopping around, driving home. A guy calls me, and he calls me the day of, and he says, hey, how's it going? This is so-and-so. We're supposed to be there at 3 o'clock. Are we still on? So I tell him, I said, look, dude, I can't do it. Old lady said, my wife said, nah, it's a no-go, right? I'm down, but hey, I only have half the money in the house, right? So he goes, oh, okay, sir. And as soon as I said, I'm out, his voice changed. He was upset. He seemed like he wanted to go. I drove all the way out here, 47 miles, and you just canceled on me. Anyway, I blame it on my wife. So anyway, so that guy, I go, oh, sir, hopefully, you have our number, you have our information, give us a call. I go, all right, man, thanks, sorry about that. So about a week later, this dude calls me again. I've already told the guy no. I've already given him the okie doke of, as the man of the house, I don't have power. My wife said no. I already gave him the spiel, right? daggone computers going black. I already gave him the spiel like, yo, dude, my old lady said no, we ain't doing it. And this guy's just coming at me. I'm like, come on, man. And this is the point where, this is what I was saying before. I understand the hustle. I'm not mad at it. But if a person says no, and they give you a reason, whether that reason is real or not, you got to let it go. And this guy just kept going and kept going. I'm like, come on, man. Leave me alone. I'm not trying to spend any money on no stinking roof. I guarantee you this. If the roof's leaking, I'll find out. Daggone ceiling will change colors. And then I'll call you in. You know? Then I'll call you in, man. But yeah, this dude just kept going and kept going. So I don't know, man. I understand this hustle, but at a certain point, I just gotta go. Look, man, y'all need to back off. This is getting ridiculous. I'm sorry. Yeah, man. So that was my experience with the roofers over there. And I'm not, like I said, I'm not mad at the guys, but the way it was set up, it was like the kid that came to the house had zero power. It wasn't, he basically was truly the middleman. So I told him, yep, let's go for, Tuesday. And so he called somebody and then had to almost explain who he was, and then had to explain who he was and tell him all of the information that I'm going to turn around and tell him. So he calls in, does his whole spiel, and then gives me the phone, and I give the guy on the phone all the information that I gave the kid. And I'm just going, all right, so even if I were to buy into this is super janky, man. Because I'm thinking the kid's going to, because he fills out a piece of paper, like a pamphlet, fill in the blank stuff, name, time of the appointment, date, that kind of stuff, circles here's the number in case you want to change your appointment. Does that thing. So when I definitely was out when he called the company and had to explain who he was. I said, this is ridiculous. I said, you guys don't have a better system than this? Something's definitely wrong. You need to have a focus group get together and do something about that. But yeah, so I just don't. I don't understand why they don't take no for an answer. And I know, yeah, ABC always be closing, right? But if the money holder says no, then as a company, you got to say no, man. I don't get it. I really don't. Anyway, here's my question. I have a real question. One of my 4.5 listeners answer this question to me. Answer this question for me, or answer it to me, whichever one makes more sense. Why is it that people, and I've only really seen it in on Facebook in these kind of public yard sale like public yard sale groups, right? So it'll be like Brentwood yard sale. So everyone that lives in Brentwood, I guess, post their stuff, and if they post their stuff online on Facebook to sell on Facebook, but then they'll also post like, hey, we're having a real live front yard sale today between whatever it is, 8 o'clock and 3 o'clock, right? So I notice a trend is people will go on their Facebook page. I'm obviously from Japan. They'll go to their Facebook page. They go to one of these groups and post something like, "Hey, what time does Whataburger close on 3rd Street?" And I read this stuff, and I 100% understand what they're doing. 100%. I completely understand it. I get it. But at times I wonder, do people think about what they're posting on the internet when it comes to getting information that's on the internet? I completely understand what they're saying, because I think what ends up happening is these people think because they're on Facebook, and I'm mostly seeing it on Facebook. I guess people can, because I put it. Well, let me back up. I've done it on Twitter. I said, hey, I'm going to Idaho. Where are some good gyms in this area? Like a jerk, I could have just typed in gyms or powerlifting or CrossFit or whatever it is and a zip code in a search engine, and really got me an answer. Could have gotten 4 or 5 hits or whatever, from the YMCA to the regular commercial gym. But what I think happens is these people post this to these groups, and they misunderstand the fact that these groups are filled with possibly their friends. What I'm saying is, I think that these people think that they're talking to their friends. They're not sitting in a group of 10 people or even 3 people going, hey, what time's Whataburger on 3rd Street close? Because that's a valid question when it comes to being surrounded by human beings. So what ends up happening is, out of the 3 people that you're with, 2 of them don't know. One of them kind of gives you a shady answer. So what do you end up doing? You end up either just going to Whataburger right now, or you end up looking it up on your phone or on your computer. Going, what time does that? Look at Whataburger on 3rd Street and it gives you the hours. I don't think that people think about what they're posting like that. I just don't understand. Why not just take that same question and put it into any search engine? You can Google, you can Yahoo, you can put it in AOL. I think you can even still ask Jeeves. I mean, there's just MSN. You even get these little bonus points. Just take that question and put it into the search engine. You hit enter, or even the little search eyeglass magnifying, whatever the stinking thing is. Click, click. You hit that, and you get all this information, all of it. And then even check this out. Let's say you post that same question. Whataburger, 3rd Street, hours, right? What time does it close? If you put that in there, you'll get an answer. And then if you scroll down a little bit more, every now, I know on Yahoo at least, you'll get I think it's called Yahoo Answers. And it's basically a forum. It's similar to Yelp, right? Because you go to Yelp and it'll give you reviews and all this. But the same thing, you'll see these Yahoo Answers or whatever it is, and you get kind of live feed. You get more up-to-date feedback. So now you say, well, yeah, they say, the Whataburger on 3rd Street closes at 9, but I went there the other day at 8 and they were already closed. I mean, at least you get that. Instantaneously, Vice posting this to a group on Facebook and hoping someone cares about your post enough to do the research that you could have done in probably you can put that into a search engine, hit enter, and maybe a quarter of the way down the page, you'll get your answer. I don't understand why people do that, and it happens a lot. And it'll be something. I've seen. Where is it's so stupid. Where's the closest Little Caesars? What? Type in Little Caesars. Even if you know how to spell it, put it in the little bar, littlecaesars.com. And I guarantee it's 2016. If this were 2003, 2004 maybe, all the websites didn't have it. But now, you'll go to Little Caesars homepage and you type in, 77362, right? Whatever your freaking zip code is. You type that in the locations tab in the drop down, and then I think some of it will even say, 10 miles, 25 miles, 50 miles. You can type that in, sir, and it'll tell you where the closest Little Caesars is. Stop posting this stuff to Facebook like we're supposed to have. Oh man, I'm blowing your ears out. Like we're supposed to have this information at the ready. Hey, they act as if someone is sitting there just scrolling through, just hitting refresh on these groups, going, okay, I know somebody's gonna have a question I can answer. Like, ooh, Little Caesars, where's the closest one? And then end up writing a stinking essay about it. I just don't understand why people do it. That's all. Just doesn't make sense to me. Just why? Please, someone, anybody, answer me that question. Twitter, Facebook, answer that question for me. But I won't lose sleep over it because I won't lose sleep over it. I don't lose sleep over a lot of stuff. I'll go to sleep right now. I could sure go for a nap. Anyway, yeah, I don't, and I'm, you know what? I'm not judging those people, but I am wondering. It's kind of like this. I think it's the same way that their mentality. I don't know how old they are because it happens quite often. Their mentality or thought process on the internet is the same as a 12-year-old's thought process. A 12-year-old may look at the internet or access to the World Wide Web. They may look at it and see it's just for Facebook, it's just for Snapchat, it's just for Instagram or whatever it is. They don't even see the glossary in the book. They just see, oh man, it's 600 pages. I have to find this one topic. No, if they just go to a home screen search engine and type stuff in, I think that's what ends up happening is these people kind of get caught up in not necessarily social media, but they just get caught up in this one little portion, and everyone does it. There's no way people can tell me that with their cell phone now they use every feature on there or even half of the features on there. I know for sure when I got my phone, I think I got it updated or something, I immediately took some of these apps and just put them in this little category section that I've never messed with them. So just that alone, let alone going in and, messing with all the features, you're not going to use, half of the potential of anything that you have, right? Excuse me. You're not going to use it. But come on, man. It's the daggone internet. Internet. The World Wide Webs. Use it. Use it for what it was essentially invented for. To find information. I don't get it. Help me. Somebody help me. Because this is ridiculous. Am I beating a dead horse? Or kicking a neutered mule? Is that a bad joke? Anyway, yeah, I don't get it, man. I don't get it. Another thing I don't get. Check this out. I'm driving to the store, right? I'm driving to the store today, as a matter of fact. And I know you've seen these merge lanes, right? And you've seen them on expressways and the streets, right? And the merge lanes, if you don't know what these are, there's a 3-lane or something, but it comes down to a 2-lane. And usually there's a sign, or you get the little arrows that are probably at a 45, right? If it's not, everything's at a 45-degree angle. But you get these arrows that kind of point to say, hey, dummy, the guy in this lane, you might want to, merge now. Or you'll get the sign that says lane ends in 1,500 feet. And not expressway, they'll, 3,000, 1,500, 1,500, Why do these people wait until the lane ends? I don't understand them waiting until the lane ends when the traffic is going at such a speed that now I have to slow down to let you in. But if you would just pace me or whatever it is, pace the traffic and just slide in. And I get it because everyone's new to a city, new to an area. They may not know that this lane ends. I get that. But usually by the time the first arrow hits, at least for me, I go, oh, I didn't know this lane ended. Let me dart over. These people don't. They will sit there and just drive and bebop along until the lane actually ends, and just like a bumper car or a NASCAR, when they hit the wall, they just ride that little white line over into your lane. I just look and I go, why didn't you do that 10 miles ago? What was the benefit of sitting in that lane that long? I don't understand it. It's going to end. It says it's going to end Why not just move out, get in the lane? I try not to get angry because my doctor said I shouldn't get angry. But yeah, I just don't understand why people do that. To this day, it doesn't bother me. I don't lose sleep, but I don't understand why they do that. I don't understand a lot of things. And daggone it, that's what I'm going to talk about today. It's just not, I don't know, man. So, look at that. It's been 30 minutes. Yeah, I try not to hold you guys captive for too long. But yeah, those are just some things. Hopefully I can get, hopefully. I talk like I have no sort of plan. Hopefully I will get some guests on here to talk about some hot button issues like Alex Jones now. But yeah, I like to get some people on here to talk about some good stuff. Hopefully that'd be perfect if I could make it to New York and get on the Metal Lab podcast. Be completely out of my element. But yeah, I think that's a wrap for this episode of the Garage Cast. Thanks to our sponsors, which I don't have any sponsors, which is okay. Sponsor free. Oh, one thing I would ask you to do, which I guess I should have asked in the beginning. If you could go to iTunes and rate my show, rate this podcast, and give me feedback, give me 1 star, 5 stars, whatever it is, but it'd be much appreciated. So I know that the listeners have a way to give me some feedback about the show, and also when other people look the show up on iTunes, they're able to kind of know something about it before they download it. That'd be much appreciated if you could do that. You can do that on my Facebook page also. What I'm just trying to get is some feedback about what you guys think about it. Where should I go with it? And if you can answer that question that I had earlier that I can't remember, that'd be perfect. So thank you for listening. Tune in again next week. Hopefully I don't get sick, so I'm out 3 or 4 weeks again. But yeah, tune in next week, and thanks for listening.